Surprise, I'm live. Okay, just gonna wait a few minutes, seconds for people to maybe get the notification and hop on. My hair is drying, so it doesn't look awesome, but that's fine. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about soulmates. Now, my name is Mel. I'm from Melsdivination. I'm the owner, the creator, the operator here. And on Wednesdays, I post Witchy Wednesdays, but it's kind of under the umbrella of spirituality and tarot things and metaphysical stuff. So we talk about that kind of thing. Normally, it's a pre-recorded video that I upload. But lately, because things have been so crazy in my life, I've been unable to make time to record. What's been happening a lot has been I'm really busy, or I was sick for a few weeks, or there's something going on that I'm playing catch up and I'm unable to record, but I really want to get out a video to you guys still and stay on track with sharing information. So hit that notification bell if you're interested in catching me live. I know this isn't the ideal time and the lighting is kind of funky, and I'm actually kind of hiding in my living room because all day long when I did have time to film, my neighbors have been landscaping. It's the time of year, and I live in a city. So it is the time of year that people, a suburban city. So it is the time of year people are constantly outside with all kinds of machines that are making noise all in the area around me, and sound does travel, and it's hard to film when that's happening. So I try not to film when there's lots of noise going on. It's about 6:45 here in Rhode Island, and it's late PM. It's a late time for me to be doing a video because the day got away from me. There's just been a lot going on in my life. So today we're going to get into soulmates. It's a video I've been wanting to talk about along with twin flames, but today we're not going to talk about twin flames. So we are just talking about soulmates, okay? My definition, my experiences with that, what I've seen as a reader, and that kind of thing, and what spirit has shown me as well. So soulmates is a very large umbrella that I'm going to try my best to stay concise and talk about this in a very clear way. If you get confused by anything, because I do want to make sure that I am conveying this well, and I am very tired. It's been a long day. If you are confused about anything, please feel free to write in the comments below asking me a question to clarify something. I read all the comments and reply when necessary. Okay. As far as soulmates, so let's talk about my experiences that spirit has shown me when it comes to soulmates. We have many different kinds of soulmates throughout our lives. Now, as a reader, I get that question all the time. Is this person my soulmate? When will I meet my soulmate? Things around that nature about the soulmate. And the thing is, with my experience, my definition of soulmate is a little bit different than a lot of people's. And what to even add to that, and I'll probably do another video on this in more detail later. When you get readings from people, or when you get information from people, make sure that the label is defined of what that means to them. Because in my experience, and this goes for everything, karmic relationships, twin flames, soulmates, past life relationship, everything under that kind of sun that has a label on it, I'm sorry, my neighbors are yelling. Hopefully you can't hear that. Ask whoever the individual is that you're speaking to, what does that mean to them? What does that label mean to them? What does that look like to them? Because what I have learned over the years of doing my extensive years of reading, I mean, I've been reading for over 15 years professionally, and more than that, actually, and I've done over 10,000 readings professionally. What I've learned is what my definition for soulmate is not necessarily your definition for soulmate. What somebody's definition for twin flame is not necessarily my definition for twin flame. So it's really, really important in these gray areas, if you're getting a reading, if you're having a conversation with somebody, that you define what does that mean to each of you, so that you're on the same page and you know that you're each talking about the same thing, okay? So that there's an understanding, a common understanding. That's really, really important. And I may do another video entirely about that, but that's important, okay? As far as soulmate is concerned, as I started saying, we have multiple soulmates, okay? And it's in multiple categories. So I'm going to explain that a little bit more. I tried to use the term soul tribe or soul family rather than soul mate, because a lot of people think that there's only one soulmate out there. That's it. And if you miss that one soulmate, you're going to be unhappy in love. And that is not the case. So that's why I try to say, well, this person is part of your soul tribe, because I don't want clients to misconstrue what I'm saying and think that I'm saying this is your only chance for genuine love. This is your only chance for real happiness. So I'm very cautious about labels and how I label anything for clients. Now, back to the point of soulmates. What my personal experience has been through clients, through readings, and through my own life and talking to other people that I know, there's different types of soulmates. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that there are soulmates that can be your family. I mean that now, this is, to be clear, not all of them are romantic. When I say family, I don't mean you're going to have a romantic relationship with your child. What I do mean is this feels very comfortable. It feels very familiar. So, and not all families have that. So I have found that there are soulmates within families. There are soulmates within friendships. There are soulmates with animals. And then there are romantic soulmates. So there's different kinds. And as I'm saying this, there's different categories that I've been taught. And I haven't read this anywhere. This is something that I have learned myself in my experience with working with people, and then also what I have personally experienced, okay? So to kind of categorize them, because the way that we work as humans, the best way is with labels, but spirituality is really hard to put labels on stuff sometimes. So I found that there's soulmates in families. You can have family members that you really, really connect well with. There's soulmates that are friends that they feel like you've known them your whole life. There's soulmates that are pets that just get you. And then there's soulmate or animals. And then there's soulmates that are romantic. And they're all different. They all have one common variable across the board, which is it feels like home. It's easy. It's comfortable. I'm sorry, my neighbors are yelling again. It's easy. It's comfortable. It just clicks. You get each other. You think on the same lines. You understand each other better than you understand most people. And it works. Sometimes they challenge you. I'm not saying that it's never hard, because we are imperfect beings, and of course there's going to be moments where things are hard, but it likely is less challenging to be around a soulmate, to be with a soulmate, to interact with the soulmate, however you interact with them, friendship or romantic speaking, okay? So let's talk about the family soulmate for a minute. Family soulmate, what is that? So I have two soulmates that I know for sure that are in my family. And these are cousins of mine. I actually think I have three. One is somebody that I'm not as close with as I would like to be, but they're much older than me. We grew up kind of a little bit separately. They live like in the middle of the country instead of in the state. And it's somebody that when we do get together, I'm like, oh my God, that's so me. But we don't actually hang out a ton, and never have, just because of the way that we grew up. So I have three cousins. 2 on my mom's side and 1 on my dad's side. The one on my dad's side is the one that's a bit older than me, and she actually looks a lot like me. Or I look like her because she's older than me, and she doesn't live near here. As far as my other 2 cousins, I have one that is 5 years younger than me that I've never really talked about because I want to respect her privacy. And then there's one that I have referenced a lot on this channel named Kimmy. Now, I have a lot of cousins. On my mother's side, I have 12 cousins. On my dad's side, I have more than 20. I only have a handful of ones on my father's side that I have met, though, because both of my parents come from very, very large families. And most of my dad's nieces and nephews had already been in their 30s by the time I was born, or in their 20s, and I didn't really get to know them because first of all, some of them didn't even live in this part of the country, and I didn't get to know them because they were so much older than me. They had moved on and gone about their own lives. Now, as far as my cousins on my mother's side, the way I know that they're soulmates is they just get me. I'm not saying there aren't moments that it's hard. I've fought with both of them. I've had challenges with both of them. So it's not just like, oh yeah, it's perfect, it's easy. Not necessarily. But we understand each other in a way that nobody else understands us. We get each other on levels that most people don't get. We have a lot in common. We think the same way. We act the same way. And it's not because, oh, well, we're cousins, we grew up together. It's more because we have this soul tribe. And I love my other cousins. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't care about them. It's more that some of them just click. Oh, sorry. There's all sorts of noise going on here. Some people it just clicks with, versus others, like, it doesn't click as well, and you kind of have to work at that relationship. Okay. Now, the next thing I talked about was, I believe, friends or work. Friends and work are kind of the same thing. Friends and work are sort of the same category because I'm talking about platonic friendships. I'm not talking about romantic friendships. So as far as platonic friendships, whether you met them at work, whether you are friends with them just like you knew them from the time you were a kid, these are the kinds of friendships that, again, you're so similar. And it's not because, well, we grew up in the same, we went to school since we were in kindergarten. It's more because you just happen to have all of these vibrations that are the same. It's very, very hard to explain because you're putting into words a feeling. And sometimes it's hard to verbalize what a feeling feels like, but it's like everything you guys do, you do together. And yes, that's a best friend, but it's more than that. And you just get each other. And now this can be same-sex platonic friendships. It can also be opposite sex, gender. Gender. Sex, gender. I mean gender. So it could be like, I have 2 soulmate friends that I talk about a lot, but actually, no, I have 3 soulmate friends. I have 3 soulmate friends. 2 are female and 1 is male. Now, the male is not gay. He's not. He's married to somebody. But we just got each other, and we liked to do all the same things, and we felt like siblings growing as we got older and got to know each other and hung out a lot. It was almost like they are my sibling when they're not. So versus I'm not super close with my brother because there's a lot that he doesn't like to do that I like to do, and vice versa. So we don't do a lot together. We do family stuff together, but he's not the first person I call if there's something going on with me. Now, as far as pets are concerned, animals have their own personality, and that's a whole nother video for another time. But in my experience, animals have very defined personalities, and I'm talking more about pets only because it's easier to explain on the level of a pet. But I've mentioned before, my aunt had a house that burned down and 5 of her cats passed away in that fire. Now she has 4 cats. This is the house that I will sometimes do videos at. So now she has 4 cats. They actually just got a new kitten. And all of these animals have their own individual personality. And some of them are similar to the cats that pass, but some of them are not. My cat has her own personality. She's not like any of the other cats I've ever been around. And she has her own quirks and weird stuff and funny things that she does and things that scare her and make her uncomfortable. And you could maybe go as far as saying she's my familiar, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're just talking about soulmates. So she gets me and I get her, and it's an energy that like there's a conversation that goes back and forth between the two of us without a conversation really happening. And she knows what to do when I need things. Like she's very emotionally supportive, even though she's not trained to be. So pets, you may connect, like, so for instance, my aunt and uncle have 4 cats. There's one cat in particular that leans more towards my uncle than my aunt. And you'll see that there's certain that if you have pets, they have a favorite. They have a person. They have their person that they tend to go to the most. That's their human. So that's kind of a way for you to kind of feel that. Now, as far as romance is concerned, so let's get into the romance. So we've covered family, we've covered platonic, we've covered animals. Now we're going to talk about romantic soulmates. Again, there are more than one soulmate romantically. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. This is not one soulmate. Once you find a soulmate, romantically speaking, that does not mean that this is your only opportunity to be happy, because people are flawed, first of all, but we also have multiple soulmates. I've seen it every day in readings, multiple opportunities for being happy, multiple potential. And I'm not talking about we have like 35 soulmates. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, a handful. It's different for everybody. So I can't say to you, you have 3 soulmates. It's different for every person. I know I've had at least 2 that I have met, and I may have more out there because I may have, I haven't met them yet, but I know for sure I've had at least 2 romantic soulmates, and it feels different for each person. It's different for each scenario. The first one that I met is somebody who became a best friend after the romance ended. It's somebody that we both grew so much knowing each other and understand each other on levels that nobody else understands us. Nobody I've ever met understands me like he understands me. And so I've maintained that friendship, even though neither one of us is interested in a romantic relationship any longer. I've maintained that friendship because it feels like home to me. It feels like somebody that is comfortable, that I can bounce ideas off of, that doesn't judge me, that totally gets me, and I don't ever have to explain anything to him. He just gets it. And that friendship, we broke up in 2015, and that friendship has continued. We were together for 3 years, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't. And things that happened were hard at the time. It was very hard. It was not easy, but things happen for a reason. And it opened the door for me to meet the next person that was a soulmate. So it doesn't mean that you can only be happy with one person. This is your only soulmate, because some people can be abusive. What happened to me was he cheated on me for a long time. What happened to me with the one that it didn't work out with? He cheated on me for a very long time, a good 1.5 years. And I was aware of some of it, but not the whole thing. And that is something for me that I couldn't forgive. Some people can get over that, and more power to you, because for me, it's not Once my trust is betrayed, I'm such a Scorpio. Once that trust is betrayed, there is no healing it, especially when it comes to something like cheating. Like that is one of my like bottom lines. Like, no, done. Like we don't have to completely stop talking. We can be friends, but it's never happening again because I can't trust you. And that's how I operate. And some people would have tried to make that work out. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's found something and he's happy for me. We're both respectful of each other's relationships. And that is a key to continuing to having a healthy friendship. So when you have a soulmate, if you're dating a soulmate, even if you're friends with a soulmate, family's a little bit trickier. But when you have a soulmate, remember, they're human. We are people, and we're brought here to trigger things in each other, to help each other learn and grow and become better. And some people don't want to do the work, or some people aren't ready to do the work. Doesn't mean they won't. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means that their soul may not be on the same level that your soul is at that time vibrationally. And so I've seen things like soulmates become drug addicts, not mine, but I've seen it in as a reader, things that I've seen. Soulmates become drug addicts, they become abusive, they cheat, they sneak around, they steal, they gamble, all the money away, they don't pay the bills, they lie, whatever. You name it, it's happened. And people will be like, I need to stay with this person because he's my soulmate. You need to do what's best for you, and you will find another person that will be better for you, or this person will learn and grow and you guys can work it out down the road. But never stay in something that is harmful to you, whether that be abusive, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. Or if it's something like the person is an addict, or you feel unsafe, or you're frustrated with the way that things are. Never stay in something just because you've convinced yourself that this person is a soulmate. They likely are, but that doesn't mean it's your end all be all for happiness. And that is a really important thing to keep in mind. Even friendship, being friends with somebody who can be, friendships can be abusive too. People can throw things at you. People can speak nasty to you. People can do things, take advantage of you. Friendships can be abusive as well. So don't ever feel like, well, I'm never going to find anything like this again. I have to stay here. Don't ever do that to yourself, because then you're not taking care of self. You're not loving yourself, and you're putting yourself in a situation that's just going to continue to get worse, and it's going to continue to make you feel worse and disempowered, and it's going to spread to the rest of your life, whatever areas of your life that you're struggling in. And all because you're afraid you're not going to meet another person like them. You won't meet another person like them. They're unique. Soulmates are unique, and every relationship with a soulmate, connection, friend. When I say relationship, I don't mean just romantic. I mean friendship as well, because friendships are relationships. Every connection, every relationship, every situation is different because every person is different. But it will feel as welcoming as one you may have to let go of. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So soulmates are not one and done. Soulmates are across all areas of life. They're not just romantic, which is really important for people to understand, because if you're asking a reader something like, when am I going to meet my soulmate? Who is my soulmate? How is my soulmate going to work out? That's with the mentality that you only have one. And so when somebody asks me that, I will say to them, are you asking me what your best romantic partner is? Are you asking me who you're going to end up with? Because soulmate, you could have a cat that's your soulmate. You could have a best friend that's your soulmate, and it's never romantic. You could have a cousin that's your soulmate, and again, it's never romantic. So yes, there's all different umbrellas of soulmates. Yes, they will come and go. Some will stay forever. Some will go. And that is okay. So I hope that has enlightened you guys. I hope that makes sense. I'm starting to get really tired. It's been a very long day for me. Someday we'll talk about twin flames. I promise. It's just, I want to do it justice. There's so much I have to share about that. And I may have to do twin flame part 1 and part 2. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. But this was an easier start to that because twin flames kind of are they're not equal to soulmates, but they kind of are in the same category as far as like labeling a relationship. Again, be very careful about any kind of labels. Labels, I know, I get it. Like with us as human beings, we have to categorize things because it makes it easier for us to understand. But try to be more free flow with labels because labels get us in trouble. Labels get us in trouble because if what I'm saying is a dog is not a dog to you, it's a cat, that's a label, that's a problem. And if we're talking about a dog, which barks, and I'm thinking we're talking about an animal that meows, we're not going to be on the same wavelength. So it's really important to be careful about descriptions, about labels, especially in the witchcraft, metaphysical, tarot world. Okay? I hope that has helped you guys. I hope it makes sense. Comment down below if you have any questions because I see that we don't really have many viewers on right now, which is totally fine. I'm going to leave this up, catch it on the replay. Let me know if you watch it on the replay. Please like, subscribe, check out the channel. On Fridays, we do Flip Through Fridays. So I share my oracle decks, my tarot decks, my Lenormand decks every single week as often as I can, as frequently as I can. Sometimes I miss a week here or there. And I think that is it right now. I don't have any affiliate links. I don't have any sponsors right now. It's just me. And if you're looking to support the channel so I can post more videos, check out my website, melsdivination.com, my Instagram, my Facebook. It's all linked down below. And I have an Etsy shop, which is quite small right now, but it does exist. I will see you guys all in the next video. I will have a post for you guys for Flip Through Friday. I will have to film that tomorrow because I will be busy on Friday. But I'll see you guys all later. Bye for now.